Hello viewers, my name is Chase Clover and this is my review on the December 28th, 2014 USW pay-per-view entitled USW Aftershock 2014. This pay-per-view was very good, and before I get into anything, I want to say Happy New Year to everyone. I wanted to make sure that I did this pay-per-view review and the intensity review on the new year, so it could be more, it could be even more special. But anyway, back to this pay-per-view. There were 14 matches on the card. The matches were amazing. They were great, full of energy, and I was just blown away at how much interest I gained throughout this pay-per-view, and how, throughout the pay-per-view I just got more interested in even more. And this was probably one of the best pay-per-views of the year. I think Bulletproof 7 was number 2, number 1 was Cold Greatness 9, and then Aftershock has to be right up there with number 3. Because there was so many great matches on the pay-per-view card, so many upsets, such as the USW World Heavyweight Championship match, which I'll get into later in the review. But there was a few upsets, there were many interesting matches, there wasn't too much plot behind it, and there wasn't too much plot going throughout the pay-per-view, so that this pay-per-view was amazing. It was great, I enjoyed it, and we'll talk about the intensity in the next review that I put up. But this pay-per-view was it was above my expectations. So we'll get into it. The first match on the card was the kickoff match, and it was DHIG defeating SRN Kills with Benny Franklin in his corner. This match was definitely, without a doubt, this match was planned because of their involvement in the world title match and the USW title match at Bulletproof 7. So these two challengers did not come out victorious, so now they are facing each other at Aftershock 2014. Definitely not too much backstory to this or behind this to garner interest, but there was enough interest to make you want to watch it just by the match being there, and just because if you watched Bulletproof 7, you'd be more interested in watching this match. Both performers put on a great match, as they did at Bulletproof 7 against Capital and Hardy, respectively. And I don't think I could have asked for much more out of this pay-per-view. This pay-per-view, it is, sorry, I'm just rambling. I'm talking about this match. I don't think I could have expected more out of this match. It was they put on a great fight. It was very interesting, high-paced, high-tempo, and DHIG ended up coming out victorious after using his knee to the back move. Let me pull out my cheat sheet here. Let's see, what was his move called? Knees to the back of his opponent, and that's how he won. There was no interference with Benny Franklin, which made this a clean victory, and not much more I could have expected out of it. This match is going to gain, I'm going to say 3 stars, because it was a great match. Second match on the card was TJ and Wilbur vs. CED and ED, and CED and ED defeated TJ and Wilbur. Not too much to talk about in this match. Wasn't lackluster, but it wasn't very interesting. Didn't garner any attention. Didn't go on for too long, which is good. And CED and ED pulled out the victory after using their enziguris, or the enziguri finishing move as a tag team or whatever. 2 stars, wasn't that great. Third matchup on the card was Dwayne Porter defeating Dustin Raymond. And that match was definitely, I predicted that match, along with the Canon and Prophecy match, to be one of the most exciting and entertaining matches on the card, and this one fulfilled it, definitely. This match went back and forth. It was about 10 minutes long. They both put on a great fight. They both just kept going. Excuse me, yawning. This match was great. They kept going back and forth, back and forth. The end of the match was fantastic, and Dwayne Porter ended up coming out victorious after he used the backflip into an elbow drop onto the top of the head of Dustin Raymond, and won the match. So, interesting match. I'd give it 4 stars because it was great. Back and forth for about 10 minutes. Nothing more you can expect, or nothing better you can expect from these two, unless you wanted something even more of an Extreme Rule type thing. Anyway, going on, that was 4 stars. Next match on the card was the 4th match on the card, and it was George Martin defeating Alex. Not much to say about this match. Nothing really interesting about this match. Nothing I would have expected out of this match. It was lackluster. I don't know what else to say about it. It was lackluster. It was not put on very well. Not something that Alex is well, he's capable of it, but it's not something you would expect out of an Alex match. These two haven't had really that many great matches as of late, and it's kind of proved it here. 2 stars, not worth watching, not worth going back and watching unless you're related to them. 5th match on the card was the loser leaves USW match for the International Championship. Fernandez and Gringo, or Fernandez with Gringo in his corner, defeated Marshighetto with Western Light in his corner. That was surprising to me. I thought it was kind of to give one or whatever the break, but I would have expected Marshighetto and Western Light to get the titles, keep the titles, and then go into a different rivalry. But I guess we're going to see what happens now that this rivalry is over, and Marshighetto and Fernandez, sadly, this great rivalry has come to a conclusion, the end of a great rivalry, one of the best rivalries, I would say, of 2014. Happy New Year. And this pay-per-view definitely did, hold quite a few matches that were interesting, garnered attention, and were worth going back and watching. Get the fuck off, I'm going to beat you. I apologize. Out. Have you ever had something piss? Hey. Out. Go away, you piece of shit. Ugh. These cats, man. These cats just do not give a fuck. Stop eating plastic! You fucking cuntbags. Man, I love these cats, man, but they annoy me, especially today in videos. They don't give a fuck. Oh my fucking... Sorry. Man, I need... Ooh. Hey, no. Forgot I had water right here. Alright. Anyway, moving on. Sorry for that, like, minute-long, hilarious bit, apparently. Anyway, I'm not gonna let him climb onto my TV. Anyway, I would not have expected Marshighetto to lose this match. I would have expected him to win. I would have expected Fernandez and Gringo to take some time off, and I guess rebuttal their characters, improve their characters, and get pretty much new characters, more interesting, watchable characters. And that's how I would have expected it to go, but I guess they went the opposite way, and they're giving Marshighetto and Western Light time off, which they deserve. They've wrestled for a long time. They've wrestled continuously for almost 2 years. And yeah, these performers, they go through so much, and Marshighetto and Western Light do more than most of the other performers because they're like they're some of the biggest performers of the entire roster. So they go through a lot, and they have to take a lot, not just in the ring, but also outside of the ring and backstage. And I would know this for a fact, don't ask me how. But these performers do deserve a break. I just didn't expect them to want a break. And I expected it to go the other way with Fernandez and Ringo getting a character change and going into a different rivalry, but I guess we're going to see how this works out here. And that's pretty much that. This match was still good. It was still great. I give it a decent 4 stars because, even though they didn't have the outcome that I wanted or that I thought would happen, it was still a great match and I can't take anything away from it. So 4 stars. That was a great match. 6th match on the card, I'm not going to talk about it too much because it was kind of a worthless, pointless match. BP Fierce defeated Lane. I don't think you want to hear me talk too much about this because it's not really worth it. It's not worth hearing me blab about it for like a good 5 minutes. It was an okay match. I can't say it was bad because it wasn't bad. It was just more lackluster. But they did have a few. I wouldn't say a few, but a couple spots in the match where it was kind of back and forth. But for the most part, BBVS gained the momentum, and this is kind of something that takes away from the match, especially considering it's not planned. So since the matches aren't scripted, it's kind of hard to get a match go back and forth. That's why you have to pit it between 2 strong performers. Lane doesn't really do that, so BP Fierce is able to take over the match for the most part during their matches, just because of how these 2 characters are built and how these 2 performers wrestle, their wrestling abilities and their wrestling styles. And BP Fierce just took control for the most part. There were a few parts where Lane was in control, but for the most part it was BP Fierce, and for that I give it 3 stars because it was an okay match. It just had a lot of lackluster moments, a few good moments, and had a couple scenes of back and forth. So 3 stars. 7th match on the card was for the Blue Belt Championship. I'm not going to talk about this one for too long. Maybe I'll talk about the match for a little bit. And Ash defeated Anarchy. I'm just going to jump right into it. Here's my problem with this. This rivalry is going on too long. It's stretching out too long. It's losing my interest. And it's just not giving me any reason to want to watch this rivalry. I want them to change it up. I want them to do what they did with the Extreme Championship and have different competitors come in, have different faces come in, and I just want this rivalry to be built differently, okay? That's what I want. That's what my request is, and that's how I want it to go, okay? So, that's what I'm going to say about this rivalry. My talk about the match was, it was good, it was up-tempo, back and forth, what you would want from a good match. It's just this rivalry took a little bit away from it, but I'm not going to take away too much from it because of the rivalry, because it's really not up to them. It's how the booking goes. My chair is breaking up. I'm going to have to get a new chair. Can you hear this? Those are all the screws that are loose, and they're just, like, the back is screeching, and, oh, damn. I need a new chair. So does Zach. Anyway, the match was great. Well, I mean, not great. The match was good, back and forth. It's just the rivalry took a little bit away from it. But I'm not going to take away too much of a rating because of the rivalry, because I know it's not up to USW. They need to go with what they have to go with and what they can really think of in the moment, in the production room. So, not a bad match. 3 stars. That's the most I'm going to give it. Anyway, moving on. Next match on the card was the 8th match. I liked this match. I liked the rivalry going into it. I also liked the I think 10th match, but I'm not going to talk too much about it because there's nothing really much to talk about. The 8th match was Chris Ross defeating James. Okay match, I guess. It was alright. I guess I can give it a good 3-4 stars. Yeah, I give it 3 stars. because it was interesting. It was definitely something you can watch again, and it's just a regular rivalry, something that's perfectly fine to have. So glad they built that mid-card feud up. Ninth match on the 3 stars. Ninth match on the card was for the Extreme Championship no disqualification match. Titanfall defeated Crimson Red to win back the Extreme Championship. Glad that we have Titanfall as the champion again. He's a good champion. Now, what we experienced on Intensity last night was pretty incredible. It involves the Extreme Championship match, or I hope it involves the Extreme Championship. So I'll get into that in my Intensity review, and I'm leaving it to you. It'll be in capital. My Intensity review after you see USW Wednesday Night Intensity December 31st, 2014 review. You'll see a little sign there, and afterwards it'll be in big bold letters, and I'll get into what that'll be on the next video. Anyway, good match, back and forth. There weren't any weapon spots, which I was surprised at. There wasn't even a sign of a chair, but I was still glad with the match. It was still mostly a technical wrestling match, and done very well. These performers have a lot of potential. So my rating for that is, I'm gonna say a good 3 stars. Yep, that sounds good. Now, so I'm not going to get into this match too much. 10th match on the card, it was Simon Saint defeating Philip Akron. I would have expected Philip Akron to defeat Simon Saint in this match because it doesn't go back and forth very well. These performers aren't the ones to go back and forth when they mix up. But it was a good match. It was something that you can watch. It was bearable, so I'm going to give it 3 stars. Alright, now we get into the main event matches. The main event matches, and I was really looking forward to. Now this one I'm going to get into, it was probably the most underrated main event match of the 4, but here we go. The 11th match on the card was the tables match. Seth defeated Lone Wolf, as I thought. I think Seth used the elbow drop onto Lone Wolf through the table to break the table and win. There were a lot of good spots. There was not one of those obviously scripted parts where they both go through a table and the referee's not looking, but when he sees, he looks up and he realizes that they're both through the table and they call it no contest. No, there weren't any of those spots. These two performers just kept trying to put each other through a table, and that's what I like in a match. Great solid match, 4 stars definitely, one of the most underrated matches of the night, and I'm glad that I watched it. I'm glad that I sat through it, and there was no question, I was going to sit through it, because I have a review to do, but I'm just glad that this match was on the card. Anyway, that one gets 4 stars, and we jump into the next main event match, which was the 12th match on the card. It was Canon defeating Prophecy, and my, oh 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 my. This was a match that involved so much chaos. This match went back and forth for a good 10 minutes, until Canon just got Prophecy to the brink. It was to this point where Prophecy was standing across the ring and walking towards Canon, and Canon was on his knees, and he was just going on and on, talking about whatever it may be, and it was about Prophecy's girlfriend. So he was trying to get Prophecy to go crazy, trying to get him to get himself disqualified, and it worked, because then Prophecy got out of the ring, grabbed a chair, and then Canon walked to the ropes. Prophecy swung the chair, hit the ropes, and Canon backed away, got in the ring. Canon was like, "You gonna do it?" And he was like, "Fine, I'll help you." And then he ran straight at Prophecy. Prophecy whacked him in the head with a chair, got disqualified, and then afterwards he grabbed the microphone and he said, "Well, if I got disqualified, you made the mistake of giving me a chair in the first place." Threw the threw the microphone across the over the ropes and at the guy who handed him the microphone, and then started beating down Capital with a chair. The referee was trying to break it up, and then Prophecy hit the referee with the chair. And then he just kept going on and on and on before referees started coming out, and then Prophecy started backing down each and every one of the security guards and the referees that came to break it up, and started packing him down with the chair, hitting them one by one. And then Cannon went for a cannonball drop kick or whatever before the backflip, but he missed, and then got rammed in the face with the head of the chair and bashed right across the nose. And then Prophecy started just beating him down again before he got out of the ring. Afterwards, he put him in the limb lock and then dropped him on the chair that he placed on the turnbuckle, grabbed the chair and then threw it on him, and then got out of the ring. And then referees came out running to help Cannon, and then the last one that was in the line got punched in the face by Prophecy and then thrown off the stage by Prophecy into the fucking crowd. And he went up the ring, up the ramp and to the thing, and he looked backwards, and the camera panned to Cannon, and Cannon was bleeding from the middle of his eyes, and it was funny as shit. It was just one of those moments where you're like, just kill him, yes, now keep beating down on him, yes, oh, people are coming out, you shouldn't have done that, pound, beating him down again, throw that microphone at the fucking guy, whoever his name is, nobody really cares. You gonna help Cannon? Alright, hey, you stay behind, pow, here you go. Toss you into the ring, toss you into the fans. Hey, have fun with him. And then just walks back. Let me see my work. Oh yeah, you're bleeding? Alright, my job here is done. So, even if since it does look like this could be the final match that these two have, I'm glad it ended like this, because Cannon got the victory, but it also feels like Prophecy got the moral victory. So, that was the icing on the cake for this rivalry, if there is any. So I'm hoping that this rivalry is over now, just because that's the perfect way to end it. Anyway, that's that match. I've got to say, that was a 5-star match. Not just because of the match, but just because there was so much chaos going on after the match, and because it was so funny, I could not stop laughing. It was so fucking funny. And I don't know what else to say about this match. And with that smirk that Prophecy had as he looked back at Cannon, that was just the funniest thing of the entire night. Probably one of the funniest moments in all of USW history. Just that beat down. It was funny. Anyway, moving on. 13th match on the card was for the USW World Heavyweight Championship, and we get from great, amazing, outstanding, instant classic match to shocker of the night. Yo-Yo Joe defeated Capital to win the USW World Heavyweight Championship and break and end Capital's 119-day record reign as World Heavyweight Champion. Oh man, where do I start? This is not good. Yo-Yo Joe's gonna get obliterated. So, Yo-Yo Joe walks into the ring, and he's acting all cocky, and then Capital enters out, and they just get into the match. And throughout the match, Yo-Yo Joe is trying to get Capital to go crazy, and that way they can just pretty much doing what Cannon was doing to Prophecy. But in order for Capital to lose his train of thought, or his train of pretty much the match, and in doing that, he gets Capital to miss the Capital punishment 3 times. The 3rd time, he capitalizes and hits the the string effect, and wins the USW World title from a roll-up. And Yo-Yo Joe runs out of the ring, grabs the world title, runs into the crowd as Capital is chasing him. He's chasing Yo-Yo Joe into the crowd. They're running through the crowd as the crowd is just trying to be like, alright, move out of the way, move out of the way, move out of the way. So Yo-Yo Joe goes up the steps, grabs a fire extinguisher that was on the wall, blasts Capital in the face with it, kindly puts the fire extinguisher back on the wall, and then starts running back out of the ring as Capital is covered in this white dust, white smoke, or whatever the fire extinguisher uses, foam, I don't know. So he's still running after Yo-Yo Joe. Yo-Yo Joe runs out, runs around the arena, runs around the Matthew J. Casey Memorial Coliseum, and is just running around it to the back, where he gets and climbs over the fence, over the barbed wire that he apparently has put a few rugs over so that way he wouldn't get cut. As Capital is chasing him and trying to run down the fence, Yo-Yo Joe gets in his car, drives away, almost hits Capital on his way, and drives away with the world title. That was a great way to end that. 5 stars. This match was amazing. This match was 5 stars, 5-star worthy, and definitely 2 matches that were incredible. I'm saying this match was a 5-star worthy match. No, nothing to it. Plot through the entire matches for these past 2 matches, and there wasn't too much, but there wasn't too little. So that's what made these past 2 matches 5-star matches. And now we get into the 14th match on the card, which is the main event. As for the USW Championship, Zach Hardy defeated Derek Carter in order to retain the USW Championship. Silence. That's all we can say about this match. This was definitely not a 5-star classic. This was 2-star rated. I would expect this, and hear me out, I expect this from Zach Hardy when it comes to this kind of rivalry, because these 2 performers are just not good with each other. Maybe they were good the first or second time, but it's gotten old to the point now. I wasn't interested in the match, and I'm still not interested. Hardy won after a cardiac face plant, something that you would expect, and that's how you end the show. Hardy throwing Derek Carter over the ring ropes, posing on the turnbuckle as Derek Carter watches on, and that's how we end the show. 2-star match to end the show when you had 2 5-star matches beforehand. Not a great way to end the pay-per-view, but the pay-per-view is good in itself. So, last thoughts on the pay-per-view, I'd say it was one of the top 3 pay-per-views of the entire year of 2014. I'm looking forward to what they're doing in 2015, what has been confirmed as their final year with 16 pay-per-views. Their final year with the USW road trip. I'm just waiting and waiting and waiting for No Forgiveness to come up and have a first recorded, database recorded database wise, No Forgiveness pay-per-view. I'm just gonna wait and see what happens. This pay-per-view, Aftershock 2014. Well, I'm gonna have to get used to saying 2015. 2014 pay-per-view was great. It was amazing. It was a 5-star pay-per-view. There were great matches all around. A few bad ones, but there were great ones. The main event took away a little bit, but I could not take away that much from this pay-per-view. It was incredible. This pay-per-view review will have the headline after the USW Aftershock 2014 review. It'll say 5-star pay-per-view. And then it'll say something like big upset and bad main event or something like that. Anyway, that was my review of the December 28th, 2014 edition USW pay-per-view entitled USW Aftershock 2014. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I am Chase Clover, signing off.